whose first 1MC is this? Anyone? Oh, we got a few first timers. Welcome. We're excited to have you. All right, we've got two great presentations for you. Before we get started, please, 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 it's always weird on this screen. It sometimes does not. Yeah. Okay. We'll pass around. Hey, can we pass around the card on the table with the QR code? If you can, please scan the QR code and check in. Unfortunately, it does not work on this screen, and resizing is not going. It's too much right now. So we'll pass around the check-in card on the front. That's on the front table, so that you can check in. It's super important. 1MC is a global event put on by the Kauffman Foundation over 100 different cities. It's all volunteer led, and we rely on it's all volunteer led, and we rely on grant funding. And your participation and showing up makes that possible. So we're excited to have you. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get our first presentation going here. And so with that, let's introduce Beauty and Balance. Okay, if everyone could give her a standing ovation. Let's go. Welcome.
Just keep it here.
All right, you are mic'd.
Okay. The space bar? Yeah. All right, awesome. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to talk to you more about Beauty and Balance. And before you ask, we are not a beauty company. We are actually a community for multi-hyphenates, multi-passionate people to be able to balance their profession with the creative passion through resources, tools, and community. But before we get started, a little bit about myself. I'm Alicia. It's so nice to meet you. I founded Beauty and Balance around a year and a half ago. It was right when I was graduating from college. I had a full-time job lined up in strategy consulting, but I decided to go on a 9-month international dance tour. I've been dancing since I was 3 or 4 years old, and I hit 9 cities. And it was absolutely phenomenal, but it really made me realize that dance and my creativity was something that I wasn't willing to put on the side, even though I was going into a profession. And me, like so many other people my age and even older, are now wondering what it's like to not only do one thing and really explore multiple passions. And so that's how Beauty and Balance was started. It's really for this in-between and era of balancing multiple passions or your profession with your passion. So what's our mission? It's really for all multi-hyphenates. We have people of all types and walks of life in our community to do 3 things. 1, we focus on balance. What does that look like in your life? How do you actually being productive and fitting everything into your schedule while avoiding burnout? This often looks like our community events. We also focus on personal branding. How are you showing up online, especially in this digital era? This is about building a holistic online presence so that your creative part of your life can seemingly be automated. You can have inbound opportunities come while focusing on your profession. And then finally, monetization, actually helping creatives kickstart that passion through funding, scholarships, and anything that can make them money. So like I said, we're around a year old, and year 1 for me was all about engagement and experimentation. So we kind of did it all. Everything from our wellness events. We held an event called Dance and Detox. This was really about focusing on movement and wellness alongside reflection of your passions, and we were featured on WGN TV. We held a national personal branding tour of pillars of personal branding across 4 cities in the US. We also held Chicago Fashion Week's first South Asian runway, which focused on how do you actually converge different art forms, and 90% of our cast had full-time jobs alongside their art. We did a couple smaller things. We had some culture-forward community building. We went to TEDx and covered that event. I'm covering 1871 Sports and Entertainment Summit tomorrow. We also opened up opportunities for creatives to explore their passions, whether that was in New York through a dinner or opening tickets to charity galas. And then most recently, I was able to actually launch a personal branding curriculum in Harvard, and we're taking that nationwide to around 7 or 8 universities and conferences this year. So very exciting things happened year 1. And the stats are there to prove it. We have around 1,000 newsletter subscribers now, around 500,000 monthly engagements, around 650 people came in person to our events. we garnered $10,000 in partnerships and sponsorships and partnered with over 25 brands. However, there is a couple things that are on my mind as we move forward. So a couple things. First, I want to really understand how we're going to make this self-sustaining and profitable. Right now, that's only through our events, but I want this community to grow and really fund itself. Second, our brand identity is really important to me. There are so many communities you can be a part of. There's so many events you can attend. I want Beauty and Balance to be noticeable going forward. And third, really understanding what are our hero products. Since we don't have physical products, to me, that means what is Beauty and Balance really known for? Is it our second shift? Is it our curriculum? I don't want to boil the ocean too much. So that brings me to year two. Year two for me is all about infrastructure for this community. And what that looks like is expanding our personal branding curriculum, for example. That's going to go under that second branding pillar. Or taking the second shift nationwide. We're expanding to LA Fashion Week and New York Fashion Week, or something like high visibility intentional events. Again, in that first balance pillar, we're partnering with Nude Sticks, which is a big makeup brand, on this on-the-go campaign on how women can feel confident on the go, balancing multiple of their identities, or launching our scholarship, which is going to fall under that monetization brand, and that's a recent development as well. So we do have these things that we're kind of centering around for year two, and building that infrastructure for our community. But that really brings me to two main questions of why I'm here today talking to you all. Our first question is, currently our profits have been coming from our events, and we are self-sustaining. So our events are sold out and they're doing great, but obviously it's not enough to build a team and really scale to the level that we want to scale. So other than ticketing and charging our community for events, I'd love to collectively brainstorm on ways that Beauty and Balance can actually have additional revenue streams that makes it self-sustaining. So for example, things that I think about are digital products. Maybe we expand to physical products, sponsorships, and going towards a more B2B model is something that's on my mind, and I'd love to hear from your experience. And then the second thing is really about that brand identity. So beyond our digital assets, we're in the process of redoing some of our color schemes and our branding. What are other ways that Beauty and Balance can really be memorable? Whether that's through core features on our events, our websites, experiential things, or even if it's as simple as like a tagline that doesn't confuse Beauty and Balance with a beauty company. That is all for me, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So one of the things that makes 1MC really special is that this is, it's not a pitch, it's not a sales thing, it's a presentation. And then we asked as a community how we can support you. I think do you want to go back one more slide so we can see that? So
this way. There we go.
All right. So you have a couple hats on here. Would love to open it up for a couple of questions, ideas, anything from the audience.
Yeah, so it seems like B2B seems like I would assume the most logical conclusion here when it comes to revenue. It seems like you're basically cultivating a community of high value individuals, right? People who are professionals, plus they have, let's say, these other aspects of their life that would be very attractive to brands to be able to connect with, or large institutions to connect with. I guess the question I would have is whether you would look at this as something where a large, like let's say corporation looks at, let's say, their own talent, and they might try to find a way in which they can maybe look at their own, let's say, employee base and say like, oh, are there multi-hyphenated people in which we could use to expand our own brand from, let's say, our employees, rather than, or like kind of in the similar sense of which we look at like corporate events in which like, oh, we want to see how we can improve kind of the wellness and well-being of our own employees, or maybe find methods in which we can expand their value proposition for us. Or I guess, would you look at it from the perspective of, let's say, universities? Because universities are quite, massive movers of people, and especially very high value individuals. Would you see this as a tool in which you could maybe connect with universities and maybe work with them to improve their, stock of students to make them more valuable for, let's say, future opportunities or jobs? I would see those as kind of like two different things. Are there any ideas that you have there?
Yeah, and I feel like I'm one of those founders that thinks very high vision, and so we've actually touched upon both of those in this coming year. And to me, it's really like understanding what we're prioritizing. For the university side of things, the partnership that we're doing with Nude Sticks is a college activation, and so we're going to universities. We're having this campaign, and the idea is to then branch into a college ambassadorship that they can take to the university's administration. I think the missing piece for me right now is like, how is that like, who are we charging? How is that making money? And then on the other side of things, when it comes to corporations, we're taking that national personal branding curriculum. We're taking it to universities, yes, but we're going to corporations and essentially for their wellness activations or things like International Women's Day, holding workshops. But again, where my head is going is right now I'm the one presenting those. And so making sure that this can live on, or other people can feel empowered to take the curriculum and present it so it's really scalable is important to me as well. So it's not just like me traveling and kind of being the only face of the brand.
And Alicia, I think that's what leads to a really good question.
Yeah.
How do you monetize? What is the business model today?
Yes, the business model today is purely through events and sponsorships. Everything, we have been very grateful to not have to pay out of pocket for pretty much anything. So we've partnered with over 25 brands and had a bunch of sponsorships because of the community. That's why my head went to B2B. I think that's also my strong suit when it comes to selling, what the event and what the community's value is. We also do ticket, but we try to keep the price of the ticket very, very low because to me, I personally don't want to be in the business of ticketing our community. I love building for them, but I'm trying to make this more than having to market every single individual event. But right now, that is something that we do.
I was at the second shift.
Oh,
So
nice to know. Thank you.
I'm also on the mailing list.
Yeah, the newsletter.
And I guess there's new stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. On the topic of monetizing people.
Yeah.
And I'll say this is relative to the type of work that I do. There's a big conversation about the revenue associated with ads.
Yeah.
And so if you represent people who have multiple lifestyles, one of which includes trying to build business and generate revenue, it might be possible that you can allow them to create ads for the community that you capture.
Yeah.
People are always paying, right? Like founders know somebody will always ask how much are you spending on your meta ads.
Yeah.
Right. There's always budget for marketing. So if you can tap into the marketing budget, even if it's not very much, but from like a group, you might be able to generate a decent amount of revenue, but then also enable people in the community to build business inside.
Yeah, totally. Noted. Ads is not something that we've explored yet, so that's really good to know. Thank you. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll go back there and then jump forward.
How good is your data? Like on your community and like, yeah, just how good is your data?
It's pretty good. We have basically been tracking everything. We have like an impact tracker as well. I think one place that is a little bit fuzzy is a lot of our data, other than the numbers that we're tracking, so like how many people are attending events, how many newsletter subscribers, et cetera, is a lot of our data is also very testimonial based. So it's translating some more qualitative impact into actual metrics is the one thing we're working on right now. But other than that, we have been pretty rigorous in tracking everything from the get-go. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And I think just knowing yourself, like as a founder, for me, I enjoy those conversations versus like going and selling more B2C and like ticketing for events. I don't particularly like that part of marketing. So yeah, doubling down on the data for sure. Yes.
Yeah. I guess to understand your value proposition as a whole for, if we're talking about B2B, would you consider your target, I guess, like member of your community to be an individual who's, let's say, very early professional or pre-professional, who's kind of considering moving into kind of, let's say, a multi kind of hyphenated lifestyle, or someone who's, let's say, early to mid professional, who's now like giving them the opportunity to now consider kind of a multi-hyphenated lifestyle? Like, are you getting people very early, or are you going more in the, let's say, mid to late? Yeah.
We've seen 3 main demographics through our events. The first one comes mostly in our personal branding curriculum and my speaking engagements. Those are your early stage, their end of high school through college, all the way up to post-grad, where they know they have, or they know they want to explore a passion. They know that they're creatively inclined, but they haven't quite fitted into their life yet. And so understanding the how-to is really important. Then we have 2 more subsects. One is the like every day, I want to say this like post-grad all the way up into like mid-30s, where they're kind of doing it already. They've already been dabbling in their creative passions. For them, it's really about doubling down and monetizing it and making it sustainable for themselves. And then our third that we're only scratching the surface to right now is the people that have 10 plus years of professional experience. And now they're like, you know, I'm done. I miss the creativity in my life. I miss that passion. So they're trying to reintroduce it. And so that's why they come to maybe our community events. Yeah.
One more.
Yes.
There's a couple really interesting things that I see there. So the first question you asked about scalability and how you make it just you. I think for now, just getting it kind of past just you are the visionary, see where this is going, you have all the ideas. And then as the community builds out there, and especially if your community is multi-hyphen, there will be people who want to be, you like the next you, right? And sort of empowering people in your community to sort of rise up to that.
Totally.
I also kind of see this could go in some sort of like a union, kind of like the SAG union or like an actors guild or whatever, where it's like, okay, so there's this new approach to work, right? A lot of us are sort of doing, the poly version of work. And so we have jobs and they don't take 40 hours necessarily. But how you get health insurance, how you get like sort of all of these supports that we talk about monetization.
Yeah.
There's all these other elements that people need in their lives.
Yeah.
And this is like big picture down the road.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
You're not providing healthcare to anybody right now, but to make this sort of like membership fees and the monetization, I know you don't want to charge the community, but if you're giving them more value.
Yes. Versus like just events.
And
Okay.
you can negotiate, sort of B2B side with the health insurance, whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do, and there's like a lot of place to grow that also lends to more partnership, lends to more ads, lends to more membership fees, whatever.
Totally.
Very cool.
Are we at time?
We're gonna have to, we're gonna have to wrap
no
that
worries.
up. Please find Alicia
Thank
after
you so much.
after this. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. Yes. All right. So, quickly here. Okay, couple things. So I do have the QR code. Please, we're gonna pass this around. Please scan. Please check in. Your check-ins matter. Handing it right here. Here. Let me see if we can.
I think we can do it.
Here we go. There we go. There we go. Woo. Okay. We'll hide all his messages.
You can put it full screen. The line does not matter for the QR code on this one.
Let me see. I see if you can scan it. I think we can scan it. No, it's this one you almost just have to. Here, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it in one. We're gonna do it in one thing. Oh man. All right. Well, we're still gonna pass this thing around. Pass that thing around. We're passing around. All right. Couple quick things. If you had coffee this morning, we want to give a shout out to our gracious and glorious U3 coffee sponsor. Yes, if you feel caffeinated, thank you, Betsy, for supporting us. Graciously has been caffeinating us since last year when we brought this back. 1MC, it was personal for me because I actually met my co-founder at a 1MC years ago, and so community events, IRL, it matters, these connections. So I challenge you to say hi to the person next to you, leave with a few more people that you might not know or you might not have met, because that's what these events are all about. So thank you, you three, for supporting that. And then also, we are in this space. This space is Tech Nexus. They have graciously given us this space and hosting us for the rest of this year. So we're not bouncing around for random places. So thank you, Tech Nexus. Woo! Who here co-works? Who here works remote sometimes? Yes, sometimes. Okay. Well, come find us. We will eventually have this on the slides if you come up here. But Tech Nexus is offering promotions, so free co-working as well as a discount code if you want to get a long-term membership for yourself, your company. If you know anyone that is looking for a space, this is a fantastic space to come to work out, have a central office in the city. So thank you graciously to Tech Nexus. A couple other things. Follow us on LinkedIn for 1MC. Follow us on Instagram. We had a couple, 1MC Chicago. You can find it on Instagram. We had a couple viral videos. I think we've had like 2. So make sure to follow us, share. We post our speakers. We post what's coming up on Instagram. And then also, if you want to be a presenter, we'd love to we'd love to have you. Especially if you come to 1MC, we'd love to have you present on here as well. We'll take a quick moment. I know we're running a little bit behind, but we have just a little bit of time. Are there any community events coming up this next week that we want to highlight? Yes.
Web3 weekend is on Friday at Q, 6 p.m. Web3, yeah.
Woo! Go Web3.
All
right, and go talk to them after if you have any questions. Any other community events going on this week? I'm gonna highlight. All right. With that, we're gonna go ahead and introduce our next speaker here. So let's give a standing ovation for Sam of Hale. Woo! Look at this. There you go.
Like that's it, or to hold it, or what?
I gotcha.
Cool.
There you go. Perfect. You're good.
Just hit the space bar.
Yep.
Cool. How's it going, everyone? My name's Sam. Before I started Hale, I was a first employee and chief of staff at a company in Chicago called Pi, if you guys have heard of that. Stepped away to build this company, which I'm really excited about. In large, it's kind of like a Sephora for men, which is a kind of goofy concept, but we'll get into it. So the real kind of like, catalyst for this concept here is like a factor that not a lot of people realize, that men have started outspending women in personal care by almost 76% per year. Caveat here, big caveat, is that it doesn't include makeup, right? So when you think about personal care, we're talking about like hair, skin, grooming, kind of like the uglies of taking care of yourself. And guys who historically have been uneducated, 10, 15 years ago, it was kind of like highly stigmatized for us to care about these things, have a robust routine built out. That stigma's changed with social media over the last 5 to 10 years, and now it's kind of expected instead of taboo. And we're kind of lost, not in searching for right answers. We scroll through our phones and we see all these products being marketed to us and are not sure which ones are actually going to be effective or which ones are generic solution garbage. So we have all this money pouring into this category, and it's all uneducated trial and error spend, and there's not really many people taking advantage of it. So the concept here is that the modern man is moving differently, right? Like younger, generations, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, millennials, like we're naturally a little bit more curious in this concept of our lives. I think that there's been a big shift in personal care where it's not just vanity and cosmetics anymore. It's actually healthcare and lifestyle and health. It's hygiene is not something that should be like frowned upon or kept secret. It's something that we should all embrace and actively take part of. And men, actually, if you look at Pinterest 2025 trend report, personal care has been the highest growing interest track and highest growing revenue track for Pinterest in the last year. And then if you look at TikTok Shop and then you look at Shopify, the top trending categories for men purchasing in every category is personal care, hair care, and skincare by double-digit percentages. So it's been really interesting to watch this market grow. And in 2025, I was like, okay, well, I think I want to get into it, and I think we want to figure out how we can cultivate this space for men to go buy these products, find what works, and feel comfortable with where they're spending their money. And I actually don't think the winning model here is to create another product line and create another SKU. So I think that the winning model is to kind of unite these, men who, are scrolling through, looking at all these products and who are going through this cognitive fatigue, trying to figure out what they should buy, and who are lacking confidence in what they're buying, while we can support brands who are making really phenomenal products who struggle from raising CACs and lower conversion rates as more people try to carve up a slice of this pie. So that's where we come in. So we built Hale to basically work with third-party brands who make really high-quality products for things like eczema, psoriasis, hair loss, or who make products for people who don't typically see mass products made for them, like Black, Brown, and Asian folks. And we port those brands into a higher conversion, lower CAC site, a brand agnostic site, and then help our users and our shoppers figure out with high confidence what they should buy and help them buy it easier over and over again. Yeah. No, you're good. So the way that I like to describe ourselves is that we're kind of the independent layer between brands and buyers. So like I said, we find really high quality brands who are super mission driven, who have different, missions behind the products that they're building. Again, highly targeted towards specific groups of people with specific problems, port them onto one site, and then help these shoppers buy with higher confidence. I think the traditional version of like a B2B company, D2C company is you're trying to convince people to make a high trust purchase in a low trust environment. You're pushing all of your marketing, your rhetoric, your material at them, trying to convince them that you're the best on the market for them, regardless of whether or not you think that's true. Consumer knows that, they're skeptical, they convert at a lower rate, so you have to pay more to play. We're trying to solve that by being brand agnostic and allowing shoppers to make these high trust purchases in a higher trust environment. So the CAC goes down and the conversion goes up. And here's kind of like the journey that I like to think about and how we separate ourselves. Most men traditionally tended to shop in this quadrant, which is sort of just a general marketplace, no guidance, go get what you need and leave, right? That was cool for a long time. And as we started to care more about what we were putting on our bodies, we wanted to know a little bit more about what was in these products. So we shifted toward individual brands who were built on this concept of being organic or high quality ingredients or for a specific type of person. But there's still no guidance on how to use this stuff and doesn't really teach people anything. So if you want to take one step forward and actually learn about what you're using and putting on your body, the only path toward high guidance is going into one brand who will sell you the service of teaching you, but you have to buy their products if you want to play their game. So we're, for the first time, kind of opening up this quadrant out here, which is high guidance marketplace. We show you all the products that are available, similar to like a Sephora and Ulta would for women, and then guide you through the shopping process so that you end up with the one that works best for you. So here's some of our early users talking about Hale. I guess what we found, and this is kind of what we were going for, is that we're really easy to use, which has been great. And we're kind of like the cool friend that knows the answer, right? So we take in information about you, your phenotypic data, we talk about what you want and what you're trying to solve for. We cross-reference that with all the products that we have, their ingredients and their concentrations of those ingredients, and then spit out what works for you, your body type, your skin type, and your hair. We do that through this concept of like archetyping people. So, if you have a specific hair type that is reactive to certain ingredients, we'll archetype you in that concept so that when you are looking at different products, you can validate them socially with people who are also in that archetype. So you don't get unbiased, you actually only get biased reviews served to you from people who are like you, which is this concept of like these kind of the right reviews rise to the top. Oop. So we're creator-led. So what we are doing to grow is leveraging UGC creators on our storefront. So these creators will be able to post their routine and share Hale as a service. So instead of selling their audiences their product, they're selling you a service, which is cool. Help them find the right product. Sorry, I know I'm over time. And what we do to guide people to the right product is use an assessment. And what we found is this assessment is an incredibly high conversion tool. We have people who land on our site and take the assessment to the right product convert at a 5 times higher rate. And we're merging two multi-billion-dollar business models. Him, the online approach, which casts a massive net, who bring people in, help them guide them through the right product for whatever the problem is. And then we're also copying Ipsy a little bit by being brand agnostic, putting them all into one place and helping people choose between brands what's better for them. We'll skip through this. So this is where we're at. We actually raised $185K for friends and family round. We launched the site, launched the team. Right now we're raising $1.1 million pre-seed to scale, hire marketing talent, and then open up shop-in-shop models around the country. We did one in New York back in the fall, which was actually pretty successful. We want to replicate that in LA and Chicago. This is my team. And then we're backed by some pretty cool investors. Andy, who is my former boss, put the first check in. Sandy Cass from Red Swan Ventures, who did Warby Parker, Allbirds, and Harry's. And then Marina Gallagher, who's ex-SVP of strategy at Feastables. And then my ask for you guys is, we're raising right now, but when we finish that raise, we're looking to make our first major marketing hire. So anybody who has been marketing director level or higher, who has grown a DTC brand or e-commerce brand before, we'd love to talk to them. And then if anybody knows any founders of any really cool, small personal care brands, I'd love to talk to them too. So, yeah.
For the record, it's not an offer to buy or sell securities. No. But you have a few asks there. Open up the floor for Q&A questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. So yeah,
Do you want to go back?
yeah, I can go back to it. Cool. So the structure of our business is like we're not just B2B2C, or sorry, we're not just B2C, right? We don't just sell to consumers and take profit or take revenue off of that. What's cool is like on that side of things, you know, we work with brands to have really deep partnerships. So we don't carry any inventory, we don't handle fulfillment, but we still earn 30 to 40% on all purchases made on the site, which is incredibly high commission. So that's cool. But the real cool part of this structure of the business lies in the B2B side, where we collect through this, you know, digital quiz that we have that helps sort people through what products they want, really rich phenotypic data, and then also behavioral data around the site of what people are interested in buying in addition to the product that they already bought, right? And so you guys know Trunk Club? Yeah, okay. So the way that Trunk Club operates, the reason that they were super successful is because they built a thin marketplace layer on top of an incredibly robust customer intelligence CRM. So they knew so much about their customer before they even landed on the site that they were able to serve them better, right? And that's kind of the model that we're emulating, right? So we are this marketplace, that's what you interact with as a user, but we're collecting so much data through both the online assessment and your behaviors that we're able to leverage that data both with our business partners. So if we want to package it in a way where they can use it for user research and develop their own products or their own marketing channels, they can buy that from us, use it. Or if they want to retarget their customers through our native channels, like through our emails, they're able to pay us and we can use that data to retarget too. So we're able to, again, earn revenue on the B2B side, which we've already started doing at low scale, which has been awesome. And then also earn that 30, 40% revenue on the consumer side without touching fulfillment. So, yeah.
What percentage of your UGC creators are there?
So right now we only have we've got an ambassador program of about 12 UGC creators. We don't pay them yet because we're setting up the referral program on the site, but we send them a whole bunch of free product. And they're willing to kind of just support us, post about us. And then as we grow after we raise this round, we'll have more of a budget to actually invest in these creators. And with that budget, we're going to build that referral program where, like, you know, you can imagine a lifestyle creator getting a DM from a couple audience members being like, oh, your hair looks great, or your skin looks great. Like, what do you use in it? And historically, they'll be like, well, you know, I know what I use and I know what works for me, but I'm not sure it will work well for your skin. Now they can say, well, here's my routine. They can share it with one click. This is what I use. You can buy from that, or you can use this platform to go find the thing that'll actually work best for you. So it's a more authentic touch point. It's less of like, here, go buy this product, and more of like, I love this service, go use this service. Yeah.
What percentage of them are men?
Oh, are men?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's a good question. So I think most men end up getting tips or getting started in personal care through the women in their lives, whether it's sisters, girlfriends, wives, mothers, right? So when we were originally crafting our UGC approach, we met in the middle and said, well, we want to use 50% women so we can communicate through like the female lens what we're building, and hopefully that might be a little more of an authentic touch point. But then we do want to get in the faces of men too, and we want to find the creators who are bolstering this like personal care movement for men online, and we invest heavily in them.
On that note, just one comment. So at the beginning of your presentation, you talked about, you know, men are doing this and like, and then one or two times later you mentioned, and it's not just about men anymore.
Yeah.
That's a little alienating.
Sure.
I know like women are not necessarily the target market, but.
Totally. Yeah. No, I think it's not just about vanity, and I don't think personal care cosmetics is a vanity thing at all. I think that point is kind of coming from the 2008 version of what men used to think personal care was for, right? Like if you were a dude, and I mean, I'm 25, so I was 5 years old when I was in 2005, right? But I assume that, like, you know, if you were in high school or in college in 2005 and you were like a straight dude who had like a really well built out skincare routine, like, you might get poked around and made fun of a little bit for having that. You shouldn't have, right? And it's probably not right. But I think the average perspective back then was that, oh, if I'm having this huge, you know, face routine, hair routine, that's a cosmetic thing, that's a vanity thing, I don't need that. Hygiene was sort of like glossed over, not as this important thing, but as this thing that we can push to the side. So I think we're starting to realize that we're kind of coming out of that stigma, and it's like, and we're, again, vanity is fine, cosmetics are fine, you should lean into that side of yourself if it makes you feel good. But also I think the reason that this is becoming, you know, wide scale is because it's widely assumed now to be a hygiene and health thing. Does that make sense?
Totally understand.
Sure.
And this is something that also used to be about that, and yet it's incredible.
Sure.
So let's keep that right.
Totally.
Can you speak loud?
Yeah, brick and mortar.
Brick and mortar.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So we ran that shop and shop test. We had a little kind of like this section of a store in Soho, Manhattan, where we could kind of test foot traffic, host creator events. We had hosted a couple of investor events there. It went really well. And we actually were able to charge our brands who didn't have a presence in New York for the distribution point that we had there. And so while that was one local test, we're going to run that test over the next year, probably multiple places in New York, in Chicago, and in LA. And then ideally, so this, I kind of structured out like the next 3 raises, and what I'd like to do post pre-seed when we've proven scale and growth is during our seed round we'll raise and then officially open up a flagship location or 2, either in New York, Chicago, or LA, whichever gives us the best signal. We're going to test that this year. Yeah.
How important is like speed to market, and do you have any like non-competitive clauses with the relationships you do build? Because I imagine this will catch flame that if another company maybe hires a celebrity for a Super Bowl commercial, they may gain that trust quicker. How do you see like that playing out?
The competitive landscape?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's one other company that's trying to do something similar to us. They're called The Second, but they're not doing any sort of guided approach. They're sort of just a general marketplace with no help figuring out what you should end up buying, and their margins and their partnership deals are really low. So one of the other moats that we've been able to dig is that we work with a lot of these companies, and that's how we're able to get the 30-40% margin. And the reason that they want to work with us is because we also work with a PR firm, and we start to enter their products into awards being validated by Hale. We have this medical advisory board that we're putting together that reviews our process by which we like review products and recommend them to people. And through that advisory board, we can recommend products, win awards to PR firms. And then we sort of start to become this like reason why, this like green stamp of approval on a product of being like, hey, they're Hale approved, they're good, you know, you should work with them, or you should buy their stuff. I don't see, what was your other question? Sorry.
The competitive landscape. So say if another Hale comes about.
Sure.
And you're.
I'm not super worried about it. Yeah, it's hard. It's not an easy thing. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say.
Sure. Yeah.
Question for you is, you mentioned that your ask for the group is
Yep.
talent. But as I'm listening to what you've built so far and what your objectives are for this year and your broader vision for the company,
Yeah.
that seems like a lot of potentially conflicting, or actually, in an ideal world, all of those efforts would be in harmony.
Mhm.
But I can imagine for a marketing person jumping in,
Yeah.
that's a lot of, you've got data-rich platforms.
Yep.
You do a lot of, B2B partnerships, but the B2B is like small, operators who are, creating their own lines, but also potentially the big ones, which are 2 really different strategies.
Mhm.
So I'm curious, like, can you say more about what you're looking for with regard to the direction?
Yeah.
Of marketing?
Totally. So yeah, there's a balance that we have to work between kind of creating and building our own brand as like Hale, right? And then also creating a presence and an extra platform for the brands that we end up working with. Because the brands that we work with, we're really excited about, and we want them to see success. We want to give them extra exposure. So from a marketing perspective, we actually have somebody who we're thinking about bringing on as a fractional CMO right now. But what we're basically looking for is a way to narrow our message across groups, right? You have this concept where like if you're selling to everybody, you're selling to nobody. And we are a pretty general platform. You can buy in a whole bunch of different categories. And again, we're not just for one specific type of person. We're for any kind of man with any kind of skin, hair, whatever, body type to come and buy these things. So I think at a high level, we have a really talented social media person who runs our social media accounts. She was Cameo's old social media manager. And what I'm looking for right now is somebody who can kind of come in. We don't need a lot of help showing off the brands. A lot of them have their marketing talent that we can work like. I'll show you. Ooh. So Garish on my team manages all communications with partners and partnerships. And so like whenever we co-post or do anything with them, they usually have the materials that they want ready. What I need a marketing director for is somebody who can come in and create verticals of messaging that we can start pushing out across different platforms and integrating into different ads and in organic socials that my social media manager can then execute on. So it builds our brand, but then also helps us to specifically target individual audiences for specific products or reasons.
And if anyone has additional, and I know Sam, we talked about this because I know it's something of interest for folks. The fundraising here in the city. I did my last raise in Chicago and Midwest, and this is a CPG forward thing.
Yeah.
And so it's always valuable to have these conversations as feedback, any connections and folks that people have. Please connect with Sam after the event. Please say both Alicia, Sam, thank you so much. And with that, we're going to give you a round of applause. Thank you. All right. With that, we are right at time. So again, thank you for joining us this morning. We're going to give our wonderful speakers, we'll invite them back up for a photo and one MC mug. Please apply to present, or if you know a presenter or a founder,
Come talk to me.
please talk to Lauren Lauren. He's not right there. He's not here. So please talk to Lauren. If you know a founder, if you know someone, we'd love to have them come and present. And come on. We'll give you these wonderful mugs. With that, we're going to adjourn. We'll see you next week, same time, same place here at Tech Nexus, 9 a.m. Thanks, everyone. Here you go.
Cool.
All right. Yay! Great job. This is great.
That's
Okay,
fun.
did you notice the theme? Did you notice the theme is like personal brand?
Oh, I did notice that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.